to Sermon Saturday, and as I said last week, we're going to do the Tower of Babel, just word for word. It's not a very long. It's the first part of Genesis 11, and here we go. The whole earth had one language, one speech. And it came to pass that they journeyed from the east, and they found the plain of the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Then they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, "Let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, "Indeed, the people are one, and they have all one language. And this is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they purpose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down there and confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." So the Lord scattered them over the face of the earth, and they ceased building. Therefore its name is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of the earth. Throughout my life and my education and my experience, I believe the Lord had taken me to the conclusion that as far as human beings goes, even the way our country was originally structured under the Constitution was that power in the hands of human beings is always lethal. It always leads to the kind of mayhem that caused God to flood the earth in the first place. And the only thing you can do is divide that power up to its least lethal elements to slow it down. When we read this story, it wasn't just a tower, it was a town that they built. This is the first real great number of people in a society building a city after the flood. Who knows how long it took for people to come back in these numbers to actually build a city like this. But the Lord recognized that this, what he had just done in his terms, in his timeline, they'll quickly get back to that. They'll quickly get back to doing this evil. So he purposed to slow things down. And his supernatural abilities are so ignored now, and it word for word says what it says. He came down here, and I think he was down here in the person of Christ, actually witnessing this being built. And then, as he stated, they are one language and one purpose, and all you have to do is to slow that process down, because when people get together in a group and they don't have him as their center, or a majority doesn't have him as the center, things go south pretty quickly. So this is where he supernaturally put people on other parts of the world and gave them different languages. Now we're quickly bridging that gap right now with electronically, with the communications age. You can go anywhere with an app, and just like I'm studying Japanese and a little bit of German, and you can take your phone with you and converse with other people through these apps. The language barriers are coming down through technology, and information is quick. So we can see this thing winding back together. The idea of everyone being of one mindset and communicating like this. So you just have to think of this in terms of what God purposed to do, and that's to slow down the groupthink that was going to lead back to the circumstances that caused the flood in the first place. So read over this. It's not long. This isn't going to be a long talk, but I hope I'm getting this across, that with people, he was using a strategy to slow things down a bit. But we're quickly bringing that back together through technology, which is leading towards the second coming, when when the entire world becomes one thought. And we, as a group, they will make war on the Lamb of God. And of course, he keeps his remnant of believers. And in the Jewish nations, when you read in Revelation about the 12,000, the 144,000, those in that faith kept aside for his purpose and how it plays out in the end times. But yes, this is supernatural power. He scattered humanity throughout the world, gave them different languages. It would only be a matter of time before we bridged all that, but it would slow things down to where the gospel could spread, and he could do what he did with Israel in the original covenant, using them as an example to the world. Salvation comes from the Jews, as he told the Samaritan woman. And then his son would come and fulfill all the prophecies of the Old Testament. But everything is done in a timeline for his purposes. And this is one of those things that he did to slow things down, so he wouldn't be right back in the situation that caused the flood in the first place. And that's the groupthink that we all start to do. This is why mob rules is horrible, because the mob will always eventually do what human beings do, and it becomes completely selfish, completely filled with pride, and destructive. So read this really quick but absolutely important thing that God did in Genesis 11 to slow things down. And he instantly invented all these cultures that would culminate eventually in the future for his son's purposes. But read it and understand that this is a spiritual thing that's happening. This is a supernatural thing that's happening, and it did happen. Next week, I think we will go to the Gospels in Matthew and read about the line of David leading to Christ, and then we'll go back and whatever we have next in Genesis. But you guys have a good week and have a good Labor Day, and I will talk to you later.